What's up, YouTube? My name is Big Boy Snatch Shine TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, because I got plenty going around. As you can tell by the title of my thumbnail in the video, this is my WWE Wrestlepalooza review and highlights. Stephanie Vaquer crowned the Women's World Champion. Make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning or towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content I do on the channel. If you guys give me 30 likes in this video, I will drop my AEW All Out review and highlights. But get this video up to at least 30 likes. Follow my social media down below in the description. Let's get started. Now, WWE Wrestlepalooza was a pretty good show for what it was. Alright, it says WWE Wrestlepalooza was live from Indianapolis, Indiana, Gainbridge Field House. Commentary tonight with Michael Cole, Ray Barrett, and Pat McAfee. The War and Treaty sings "God Bless America." A brand new version of the Then Now Forever Together video plays. I like that. The WWE drone flies us over to Indianapolis, Indiana. Pre-show arrivals. The Usos are shown arriving together. Elsewhere backstage, we see the Vision walking as a unit. CM Punk is shown arriving alongside with his wife AJ Lee. AJ Lee returns to the ring for the first time in over a decade. That's like in 10 years. On split screen, Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer are shown. They will battle for the Vaquer Women's World Championship. Also on split screen, undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre are walking backstage, which is that main event itself. Nobody doesn't even care about that main event, but Cody Rhodes did retain. Alright, let me move on. Video package. WWE and ESPN, once upstarts decades ago, are global powerhouses that are partnering up. They showed some great clips of past collaborations mixed in with a pyrotechnics display throughout it. It includes with WWE COO Triple H saying that the source is entertainment. It always has been and it always will be. Remember by 6 plays, and WWE Chief Operation Triple H is standing in the ring. Triple H asked the crowd if they can feel it. What they are about to witness is the final form of sports and entertainment. And if tonight is your first night, he welcomes you to WWE. Triple H welcomes everyone to ESPN and Wrestlepalooza. Another protectionist display goes off. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett welcomes us to the show. Parking garage segment. A black SUV pulls up. Out steps is Pat McAfee and Tyrese Hellenberg of the Indiana Pacers. Pat McAfee gets a huge ovation. Triple H comes up from behind and embraces him. Pat McAfee makes his entrance, and he will join the commentary for the evening. Michael Cole asked Wade Barrett if he knew. Wade Barrett said there were rumbling on the internet. Michael Cole says he doesn't go on the internet. Last he heard, the internet said Wade Barrett was fired. Michael Cole tells Pat McAfee to keep his pants on because he doesn't want to see his junk anymore. I must have missed something, thankfully. A loud Pat McAfee chant fires up. Pat McAfee has a long NFL career as a member of the Indianapolis Colts. Phenomenal opening to Wrestlepalooza. That video package, the Triple H appearance, and Pat McAfee return are making this show feels like a huge deal. Who have thought that ESPN would ever feature pro wrestling? This was unthinkable years ago. Brock Lesnar makes his entrance as he walks around ringside. Michael Cole covers behind Ray Barrett. Michael Cole and Corey Graves were attacked by Brock Lesnar last night on SmackDown. John Cena makes his entrance with a bunch of children. John Cena's shirt is sporting the colors of the Indiana Pacers. This is the first time John Cena and Brock Lesnar have fought since September 2014. John Cena has 99 PLEs victories and is 2 wins and 4 against Brock Lesnar. Alicia Taylor does John Cena's epic introductions before she can do Brock Lesnar's. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman appears on an apron. Paul Heyman is back with Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman does a full throated ring announcement for Brock Lesnar, calling him the last real kicker, junk opposing John Cena's last real champion tag. So we get the first match: Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. This was the worst match of the night, and this match was terrible. The bell rings, and Brock Lesnar viciously attacks John Cena. Brock Lesnar punches and kicks him to the corner, shouldering him in the midsection multiple times. John Cena fights back with some right hands, but Brock Lesnar quickly floors him with a clothesline. Brock Lesnar pulls John Cena up and hits a short arm clothesline. Brock Lesnar whips him hard into the opposite corner, and John Cena collapses to the mat. Brock Lesnar pulls him up and whips him sternum first into the turnbuckles before posing. John Cena's body is already starting to showcase welts. Brock Lesnar scoops him up, walks around the ring with him on his shoulders, and hits a running power slam. Brock Lesnar shouts it's time to go to Suplex City. Brock Lesnar connects with a German suplex. The force of the impact knocks John Cena out of the ring. John Cena slowly gets in the ring, and Brock Lesnar applies a bear hug. John Cena powers up and starts to break Brock Lesnar's grip. Brock Lesnar powers through and keeps the bear hug applied. John Cena powers up and breaks free before scooping Brock Lesnar up for an attitude adjustment attempt. Brock Lesnar quickly slides off and connects with a vicious clothesline. Brock Lesnar stands over John Cena and mocks John Cena. Brock Lesnar applies a waistlock and connects with a German suplex. Brock Lesnar holds up two fingers to signal that's the second trip to Suplex City. Brock Lesnar pulls John Cena to his feet and kicks him in the midsection. John Cena collapses to his knees and gasps for air. Brock Lesnar scoops John Cena up, but John Cena slides off and shoves him into the turnbuckles. John Cena hits a trio of running shoulder tackles, but Brock Lesnar won't go down. A fourth running shoulder tackle takes Brock Lesnar down. John Cena connects with the AA. John Cena pulls him up and hits a second AA. John Cena walks around and then grabs Brock Lesnar for a third AA. 1-2, Brock Lesnar kicks out. Immediately transitions to going for a 5-knuckle shuffle. You can't see me. John Cena taunts before hitting the ropes. Before he can drop the fist, Brock Lesnar pops up and hits the GOAT with an F5. Brock Lesnar pulls John Cena up and hits a second F5. Brock Lesnar is fired up and screams at John Cena before hitting a third F5. Brock Lesnar takes a few moments to recover and has developed a limp. Brock Lesnar has not compete in 2 years. After taking a few moments to recover, Brock Lesnar pulls John Cena up for a fourth F5. Brock Lesnar is standing over John Cena and smiling. John Cena slowly coils around and starts to pull himself up. Brock Lesnar ties up his opponent and hits a fifth F5. Brock Lesnar grabs John Cena and hits a sixth F5. 1, 2, 3. The winner by pinfall, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. This was the worst match of the night, and this match was terrible. So you mean you're going to kick off with... I already knew that Showstopper TV called it straight down the middle. You're going to kick off with this first match. This was the worst match of the night, and it was terrible. You had John Cena lose to Brock Lesnar on his retirement tour. First off, you had John Cena turn heel at Elimination Chamber when The Rock and Travis Scott shows up. And then you had John Cena retain at WrestleMania. And then you had John Cena put his undisputed WWE Championship on the line in a street fight against Cody Rhodes. And then John Cena drops the title to Cody Rhodes. And now at Wrestlepalooza you got John Cena losing to Brock Lesnar, so John Cena cannot win big matches anymore. That is ridiculous. You just wasted John Cena's retirement tour time. All that for nothing. But anyway, this was the worst match of the night, and this match was terrible. The massive Brock Lesnar celebrates his win. He loses to Morris. Brock Lesnar gets out of the ring and walks around ringside. Brock Lesnar looks at the referee, Dan Engler, checking on John Cena. Brock Lesnar gets in the ring and grabs Dan Engler before hitting the referee with an F5. Brock Lesnar grabs Engler by his pants and throws him. Brock Lesnar then grabs John Cena and hits him with his 7th F5 of the evening. So he hit 7 F5s on John Cena. That's crazy. A child clad in John Cena's Atari is showing crying in the crowd. Brock Lesnar takes off his gloves and walks to the back. So all the children that was wearing John Cena's shirt was crying. That's crazy, man. But John Cena, you deserve way better than this, man. And that's all I gotta say. Replay are showing of the vicious assault on John Cena. We return to the ring to see a shell-shocked John Cena getting to his feet and leaving the ring. The crowd chants, "Thank you, John Cena." John Cena stops to acknowledge the crowd before going to the back. and John Cena is leaving in a couple weeks, so we might not see John Cena in a couple weeks when he retires. Man, that's crazy, man. But anyway, Brock Lesnar pins John Cena at Wrestlepalooza. All right, as has been the case for the measure of John Cena's career, that they portrayed Brock Lesnar as his kryptonite. It was that way yet again here at Wrestlepalooza. I love that. It feels like vanquishing the Beast might be John Cena's final match on SME. All right, ESPN ad break. A group of fans dressed in Hulk Hogan's gear is showing at ringside. Real American Beer will have a Hulk Hogan memorial can. Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, and Pat McAfee toast to Pat McAfee's return. Replay earlier tonight, the Usos in the Vision got into an altercation. Raw General Mitchell appointed LA Knight to be the special guest referee. Why is LA Knight the special guest referee at Wrestlepalooza? You should put him in a match. But anyway, LA Knight makes his entrance to a big ovation. He is wearing a referee shirt with no sleeves. I was confused about that. Why is LA Knight a special guest referee? But anyway, it is what it is. The Usos make their entrance through the arena concourse. Jimmy Uso tells everyone to get the flashlights on their phones fires up because they are not to show ESPN how WWE gets down. Jey Uso says 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. The crowd does a massive yeet dance with the lights off, only showing these little phones flashlights bouncing up and down. The Usos gets in the ring and look at their little blown up. The crowd wants them to run it back, so they oblige more yeeting. Alright, so we get a tag team match. The Usos main event, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso versus the Vision, Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed, accompanied by Paul Heyman. And this tag team match, I ain't even gonna lie, this was a good tag team match right here. Alright. Jey Uso and Braun Breaker go face to face before the match starts. Jimmy Uso holds his brother back. LA Knight orders each team to their corner and calls for the bell to start the match. It'll be main event Jey Uso starting against Big Bronson Reed. They lock up and Bronson Reed shoves Jey Uso to the corner before punching and stomping him down. Bronson Reed whips Jey Uso to the corner, but Jey Uso sidesteps and avalanches. Jey Uso hits a snap kick and back elbow and another snap kick. Jimmy Uso tags in. The Usos hit Bronson Reed with a double super kick before hitting a double uppercut. Jimmy Uso tackles Bronson Reed into the corner, and Jey Uso avalanches him. Jimmy Uso chops the chest and hits the ropes, but Bronson Reed connects with a back elbow. Bronson Reed puts Jimmy Uso in the corner and tags in Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker punches and shoulders away at Jimmy Uso in the corner. Braun Breaker gets in LA Knight's face, and LA Knight mocks him. Braun Breaker sends Jimmy Uso out of the ring and tags Bronson Reed in. Bronson Reed goes under the ring as Braun Breaker distracts LA Knight. Bronson Reed grabs a steel chair, but LA Knight catches him. Jimmy Uso kicks Bronson Reed in the ribs and grabs the chair. LA Knight internally turns his back so Jimmy Uso can hit Bronson Reed on the back with the chair. Braun Breaker attacks Jimmy Uso, so Jey Uso whips out the Vision with a diving crossbody block off the top rope to the floor. Jimmy Uso get Bronson Reed in the ring to start off the 10 punches. As he does, Braun Breaker whips Jey Uso into the ring post. Jimmy Uso chops Bronson Reed's chest. Bronson Reed reverses a whip, so Jimmy Uso does a clothesline and hits the ropes. But Braun Breaker pulls the top rope down and knocks Jimmy Uso out of the ring. Braun Breaker goes to ringside and charges around to crush Jimmy Uso with a leaping shoulder tackle. Braun Breaker is fired up. Braun Breaker pulls Jimmy Uso in the ring and mounts him for some right hands. Bronson Reed tags in and Braun Breaker jumps on his back as Bronson Reed hits Jimmy Uso with a big splash. 1-2, Jimmy Uso kicks out. Bronson Reed sends Jimmy Uso out of the ring as Jey Uso on the apron. Bronson Reed goes under the ring and grabs his steel chair, smashing it off of Jimmy Uso's back. In full view of LA Knight doesn't disqualify him. Bronson Reed puts 2 chairs in the ring as the crowd chants, "We want tables." Bronson Reed pulls a table out of the ring before putting it back to a loud boost. Jimmy Uso is holding his left knee in the ring. Bronson Reed gets in the ring and drops an elbow before raising a chair in the corner. Braun Breaker tags in and elbows Jimmy Uso in the skull. Braun Breaker hits a standing exploder suplex before taunting Jey Uso. Braun Breaker pulls Jimmy Uso up and connects with a vertical suplex. Braun Breaker covers, but he quickly slides off and does some push-ups. A la his Hall of Fame Uncle Scott Steiner. Bronson Reed tags back in and hits Jimmy Uso with a senton splash. Bronson Reed opens a chair in the center of the ring and puts Jimmy Uso's head on it. An OTC chant picks up. Bronson Reed charges, but Jimmy Uso hits him with a dropkick to the knees, knocking Bronson Reed's face into the chair. Braun Breaker quickly tags in and knocks Jey Uso off the apron before can tag in. Braun Breaker sends Jey Uso into the ring steps before quickly getting in the ring and hitting Jimmy Uso with another standing exploder. Bronson Reed tags in and puts Jimmy Uso's neck in the electric chair. Braun Breaker comes off the top rope with a diving bulldog on Jimmy Uso off of Bronson Reed's shoulders. 1-2. Jimmy Uso kicks out. Braun Breaker gets in LA Knight's face about the count. LA Knight doesn't back down. Bronson Reed tags in. Bronson Reed goes for a senton splash, but Jimmy Uso moves. Bronson Reed gets up and looks at Jimmy Uso standing in the corner. Bronson Reed charges for a shoulder tackle, but Jimmy Uso sidesteps him, sending Bronson Reed head first into the chair. Regis in the corner. Jey Uso gets on the apron and gets the corner going. Jey Uso and Braun Breaker tag in. Jey Uso hits a pair of clotheslines on the bag, you know what, and punches away at him. Jey Uso does some threats before punching him down. Jey Uso crushes Braun Breaker with a running hip attack in the corner, knocking something off the turnbuckles. Jey Uso knocks Braun Breaker back and hits a flying crossbody block for a near fall. Jey Uso shouts some instructions to Jimmy Uso, and Jimmy Uso retrieves a table from under the ring. The crowd loudly pops as the Usos set up the table in the ring. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attack the Usos from behind. Bronson Reed leads the table against the corner and can get the one pair of legs to a collapse. Braun Breaker goes to spear Jey Uso through the table, but he super kicks him. Bronson Reed also eats a super kick. The Usos hit Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed with a stereo super kick. They hit Braun Breaker with a 1D 1-2. Bronson Reed breaks up a cannonball. Bronson Reed headbutts Jimmy Uso out of the ring and sends Jey Uso to the corner. Bronson Reed puts Jey Uso on the top rope and starts to climb. The crowd chants OTC. Jey Uso knocks off Bronson Reed and knocks Jey Uso off. The crowd chants OTC. Jey Uso knocks Bronson Reed off, but Braun Breaker quickly scales the ropes for a Frankensteiner. I was trying to read that, but I'm glad I read that. Anyway, Bronson Reed goes to the top rope for a moonsault on Jey Uso, but he moves. Jimmy Uso hits Bronson Reed with a swanton bomb and gets to his feet, only to eat a spear from Braun Breaker. Jey Uso spears Braun Breaker and hits an Uso splash. 1-2. Braun Breaker kicks out. Jey Uso super kicks Bronson Reed off the apron. LA Knight gets out of the ring to admonish Bronson Reed. Jey Uso then whips Bronson Reed out with a suicide dive. LA Knight asks if Jey was trying to come for him. LA Knight argued with Jey Uso. Paul Heyman gives Braun Breaker a chair as Jey Uso and LA Knight continues to argue. Jey Uso gets in the ring and super kicks Braun Breaker. Jey Uso grabs the chair and goes to swing, but Braun Breaker ducks. Jey Uso nearly hits LA Knight, but it stopped himself. Jey Uso hits Braun Breaker in the midsection with a chair and slams it off his back. Jey Uso then throws the chair into Bronson Reed's back. Braun Breaker quickly pops up and hits Jey Uso with a spear. Jey Uso is busted wide open. Braun Breaker spears the Usos through the table in the corner. Bronson Reed tags in and comes off the top rope with a tsunami on Jey Uso for the win. The winner of the match by pinfall division. This was a good match as well. Good tag team match. Bronson Reed wants LA Knight to hold his arm in victory, but LA Knight declines. Alright, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed defeated the Usos at WrestlePalooza. Why I say WrestleMania? At WrestlePalooza. That's what I'm trying to say. Excellent tag team match with the Usos in the division. It was a lot of fun. The blood at the end added to the intensity. Braun Breaker was covered in blood, so it intentionally threw it was him. But it turns out to be Jey Uso. Great stuff. Hashtag WrestlePalooza. ESPN app break. The war and treaty are shown at ringside. The ESPN president is also there. The hosts of the Club 520 podcast are there. Tyrese Hellenborg gets a great ovation. WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton is shown at ringside this Friday on SmackDown. She'll defend her title in a triple threat match against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. This triple threat match should have been at WrestlePalooza. That's all I gotta say. So let's move on. So we get the next match. Vaquer Women's World Champion Stephanie McCure versus Io Sky. This was the best match of the night. This match was way better than the first match. I'm gonna say this was the best match of the night between Stephanie McCure and Io Sky. This match right here was way better than the first match against John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. But this was the match of the night right here. The Women's World Champion was vacated by Naomi on Raw on August 18th after announcing her pregnancy. The bell rings to start the match. They lock up and Stephanie McCure hits a waistlock takeover. Io Sky pops up and applies a waistlock. Stephanie McCure transitions into a hammerlock. Io Sky slides out and pulls her down and applies a front face lock before giving a clean break. They go to lock up, but Stephanie McCure traps Io Sky's hand under her foot. Stephanie McCure kicks away as they go for a test of strength. They do some mat wrestling. Stephanie McCure applies a head scissors, but Io Sky does a handstand and bounces out before applying a side headlock. Stephanie McCure fights up and whips her off. Stephanie McCure follows her into the ropes and rolls her up for a 1 count. They exchange some nice pinning combinations. Io Sky nearly pins Stephanie McCure. The crowd gives them a nice ovation as they smile at each other. Io Sky blocks a punch, but Io Sky blocks a punch, but Stephanie McCure comes back with a back suplex. Stephanie McCure singles for a devil's kiss, but Io Sky gets out. Io Sky hits an arm drag and hits the ropes before doing a double handspring. Io Sky whips the feet and hits a basement drop kick before opposing. Io Sky kicks Stephanie McCure before hitting a scoop slam. Io Sky does a handstand and drives her knees into Stephanie McCure's for a 1 count. Io Sky applies an ankle lock. Stephanie McCure tries to kick out, but Io Sky keeps holding on. Io Sky lets go of the ankle and sends her to the corner. Stephanie McCure boosts Io Sky and applies an arm bar over the top rope. Stephanie McCure releases a German suplex, being disqualified. Stephanie McCure gets in the ring and attacks Io Sky. Io Sky goes for a sunset flip, but Stephanie McCure rakes the face. Stephanie McCure attacks for a 2 count. Stephanie McCure adjusts her wardrobe. Stephanie McCure hits a snap suplex and applies a near chin lock. Io Sky fights up, but Stephanie McCure hooks the head and hits another suplex. Hits another snap suplex. Stephanie McCure applies a straight jacket submission and bent Io Sky's back. Io Sky rolls through and applies a straight jacket. Stephanie McCure kicks out and hits a head scissors takeover. Stephanie McCure attacks, but Io Sky connects into a double underhook backbreaker. Both women are down. Io Sky is the first to her feet and hits a pair of shot uppercuts. Io Sky connects with a flapjack. Stephanie McCure reverses a whip to the corner, but Io Sky twists through the ropes and punches her back. Io Sky connects with a springboard missile dropkick before keeping up. Io Sky pulls and gets the crowd going. Stephanie McCure rolls out of the ring to recover. Io Sky hits the ropes and connects with a beautiful suicide dive. Io Sky gets Stephanie McCure in the ring. Stephanie McCure fights back, but Io Sky kicks her and goes for a sunset flip powerbomb off the apron. Stephanie McCure holds on and drops a knee across the sternum. Stephanie Vaquer then hits a springboard crossbody block to the floor on Io Sky. Stephanie Vaquer gets Io Sky in the ring, and the crowd chants, "This is awesome," which is I agree from the crowd. This match was awesome. Stephanie Vaquer hits another springboard crossbody block, this time in the ring. Stephanie Vaquer hits a snap suplex, and Io Sky to the corner. Io Sky avoids a running meteor and hits a release German suplex. Io Sky charges her in the corner, but Stephanie Vaquer avoids it and hits Io Sky with a release German suplex. Both women are down again. They start to exchange right hands from their knees, with Stephanie Vaquer coming out on top. Io Sky answers with a shot uppercut. Stephanie Vaquer quickly knees her and hits the ropes, but Io Sky punches her. Stephanie Vaquer answers back with a back suplex and sets up for the devil's kiss. Io Sky quickly counters it with a roll up into a double stomp for a 1 count. Io Sky immediately transitions into a crossface. Stephanie Vaquer managed to roll out, but Io Sky knees her in the face. Io Sky steps on her and heads to the top rope. Stephanie Vaquer pulls her down, but Io Sky elbow her back. Stephanie Vaquer blocks a kick and hits a nasty dragon screw off the ropes. Stephanie Vaquer goes for an SBB, but Io Sky gets out. Stephanie Vaquer hits a headbutt and hits the ropes. Io Sky catches her with the hurricanrana into a cradle for a near fall. Io Sky then kicks her in the head. They're both down again. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Io Sky hits Stephanie Vaquer with a bullet train attack before stepping on her. Io Sky shakes some feelings into her legs, which was damaged. But the dragon screw, Io Sky goes for an over the moonsault, but Stephanie Vaquer gets her feet up. Stephanie Vaquer super kicks Io Sky and hits another vicious dragon screw off the ropes. Stephanie Vaquer grabs Io Sky, and the crowd starts to go crazy. Stephanie Vaquer connects with a devil's kiss and hits the SBB 1-2. Io Sky kicks out. After a few replay are shown, Stephanie Vaquer heads to the top rope. Io Sky stuns her with a shot uppercut and climb the ropes. Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer battling it out on the top rope. Io Sky hits her with a toe suplex, toe rope Spanish fly. Io Sky injures knee hits the mat hard, so she can immediately capitalize. Io Sky eventually crawls over and goes for a 2 count. Io Sky hits Stephanie Vaquer with a bullet train attack and pulls her knee pads down. Io Sky hits another bullet train attack with her exposed knee. Io Sky connects with a running knee to the skull. Io Sky positions Stephanie Vaquer and steps over her before going to the top rope. Stephanie Vaquer rolls out of the way for an moonsault, and Io Sky exposed knee hits the mat hard. Stephanie Vaquer then hits a wild spiral splash for the win. The winner by pinfall and your new Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer. This was the match of the night right here. And this match between Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky for the vacant Women's World Champion, that match itself was way better than Brock Lesnar and John Cena's match, which that first match was the worst match of the night, and it was terrible. Alright, Stephanie Vaquer is in motion as she takes the Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer lays it on the mat and knees before Io Sky with it. Io Sky kneels and pulls the top on Stephanie Vaquer's shoulders. Io Sky is having trouble standing. Stephanie Vaquer poses with the title as the protagonist that goes off. Then Stephanie Vaquer leaves the ring and embraces her father at ringside. Father and daughter have tears in their eyes as her father holds the title up. That's a big W. I like this outcome. Now, in my honest opinion, I thought that Asuka was going to come out and cause Io Sky the matchup, but Asuka did not came out. So it is what it is. Stephanie Vaquer pins Io Sky and is the new Women's World Champion. A really phenomenal match with Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer. They both cooked in this ring. I was worried they weren't doing enough with Stephanie Vaquer in the build to this match, but her wrestling speaks for itself, which is I agree with that. They had a tremendous match and pulled the crowd into this. I love it. Hashtag Wrestlepalooza. I agree. Pat McAfee says it's been an honor to be here, so apparently he's leaving the commentary table. ESPN app break. Video package mixed tag team match. World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and Women's Intercontinental Champion the man Becky Lynch made their entrance coming down on the platform with fireballs going off. CM Punk makes his entrance wearing a jacket that says AJ Husband. AJ Lee music then hits and she skips down the ring to a huge ovation. This is her first match since March 30th of 2015. Alright, so we get a mixed tag team match. World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins and the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man Becky Lynch, versus CM Punk and AJ Lee. This was a fun tag team match. The crowd is buzzing as the bell starts to ring, as the bell rings to start the match, and the AJ Lee chant picks up. So Seth freaking Rollins covers his wife's ears. AJ Lee wants to start the match, but Becky Lynch has no interest. It'll be Seth Rollins starting against CM Punk. A loud CM Punk chant picks up. Seth Rollins and CM Punk goes face to face. Seth Rollins backs up and Becky Lynch blind tags in. AJ Lee smirks at Becky Lynch and gets CM Punk's face. Becky Lynch pepper Punk with some strikes. The crowd wants CM Punk to give Becky Lynch a GTS, which that should have happened. If Becky Lynch slapped CM Punk around, if I was CM Punk, I would have given Becky Lynch the GTS. Just like Baron Corbin gave Becky Lynch the ends of days. And then, you know that's facts. But anyway, CM Punk tags in AJ Lee. AJ Lee is about to see her first action in over a decade. Becky Lynch slaps CM Punk in the face and gets out of the ring. AJ Lee chased Becky Lynch, so Becky Lynch gets in the ring and tags Seth Rollins in. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch laugh at ringside before kissing. CM Punk then whips around out with a suicide dive. CM Punk bounces him off the tables and sends him over the barricade into the crowd. CM Punk jumps off the barricade and attacks Seth Rollins. CM Punk chases Seth Rollins into the ring, but Seth Rollins quickly tackles him in the corner, hitting some shoulder tackles. Becky Lynch chokes CM Punk as the referee acknowledges Seth Rollins. The referee then keeps AJ Lee from getting in the ring. CM Punk shoulders Seth Rollins in the midsection until the referee admonishes him. AJ Lee then chokes Seth Rollins as the referee is distracted. The referee has to hold Becky Lynch back. CM Punk hits Seth Rollins with an inverted atomic drop before chopping him down. CM Punk comes off the top rope with a diving axe handle. CM Punk goes to the top rope for another axe handle. The skull of the World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk goes back to the top rope and leaps, but Seth Rollins kicks him and goes for a pedigree. CM Punk gets out and goes for the go to sleep, but Seth Rollins slides off. Becky Lynch gets a cheap shot in, and Seth Rollins punches CM Punk out of the ring. The three admire Seth Rollins, and as Becky Lynch shoves CM Punk into the ring steps, AJ Lee runs over and stares at Seth Rollins. And who dismissed her? Seth Rollins won't let AJ Lee get to his wife. Seth Rollins puts CM Punk on the commentary table and punches away at him. Seth Rollins gets in CM Punk in the ring and hits a diving axe handle. Seth Rollins stomps on CM Punk's hand and chops his chest. Seth Rollins hits the ropes and boots CM Punk in the jaw. Seth Rollins kissed Becky Lynch on the apron. Seth Rollins chokes CM Punk in the middle row before Becky Lynch lays in a slap to his face. Seth Rollins avalanches CM Punk. Seth Rollins stops him. Seth Rollins has a nasty welt on his left side. CM Punk punches Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins holds him. Seth Rollins quickly whips CM Punk hard into his corner before choking him with his boot. The referee talks with Seth Rollins as Becky Lynch gets another cheap shot in on CM Punk. The crowd chants, "We want AJ Lee." Seth Rollins grabs CM Punk for a vertical suplex, but CM Punk fights it. They each attempt They used to attempt a suplex, but neither man goes over. So CM Punk finally hits the vertical suplex. Seth Rollins signals that he is going to tag Becky Lynch, but he stops and puts CM Punk in the front face lock. AJ Lee is looking worried about her husband. CM Punk fights up and tries to power his way to his corner. CM Punk gets to his corner and tags AJ Lee in, but the referee was distracted by Becky Lynch. The referee holds AJ Lee back to a loud boost as Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch double team CM Punk with stomps. Seth Rollins presses his wife over his head and goes to drop her onto CM Punk, but CM Punk moves. Seth Rollins is infuriated and goes for an avalanche, but CM Punk moves. Seth Rollins falls out of the ring. CM Punk sees the opening and dives for a tag, but Becky Lynch pulls AJ Lee off the apron. Seth Rollins grabs CM Punk and hits a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Seth Rollins mocks AJ Lee skipping before getting out of the ring. Seth Rollins skips around AJ, who is still down at ringside. Seth Rollins gets in the ring and skips around CM Punk. CM Punk gets up and smashes Seth Rollins with the GTS. Becky Lynch checks on her husband, but he's unconscious. Becky Lynch gets in the ring and grabs CM Punk's leg as AJ Lee gets on the apron. CM Punk gets up and looks confused as Becky Lynch holds his foot. CM Punk blows her a kiss and tags in AJ Lee. AJ Lee comes in to a huge ovation and he's a Luther Express punching away at the Women's Intercontinental Champion. AJ Lee tackles her and punches away at her. AJ Lee grabs her by the hair and slams her down. AJ Lee giddy makes her way to the corner and stomps away at Becky Lynch. AJ Lee avalanches her and climbs the second rope for the 10 punches. Before hitting the 10th, Becky Lynch goes for a powerbomb. AJ Lee counters with a hurricanrana and follows it up with a spin kick. AJ Lee sweeps the feet and comes off the top rope with a crossbody block for a 2 count. The crowd chant, "You still got it." Becky Lynch slaps AJ Lee in the face, so AJ Lee slaps her back, so AJ Lee had to get her get back against Becky Lynch. AJ Lee paintbrushes her face and punches her in the corner. Seth Rollins runs in and pulls AJ Lee back. Seth Rollins yells at AJ Lee, so she paintbrushes his face. Becky Lynch grabs AJ Lee for the manhandle slam, but AJ Lee gets out. AJ Lee hooks her head and uses Seth Rollins to catapult for a tornado DDT. CM Punk then comes in and helps AJ Lee AJ Lee hit Seth Rollins with the slice spread, landing on Becky Lynch. In the process, 1-2, Becky Lynch kicks out. Alright. I'll take a sip of my water. But anyway, CM Punk and AJ Lee hit Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch with their running double knees, followed by a stereo bulldogs and a shiny wizard. AJ Lee goes for a head scissors on Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch comes with a disarm her attempt. AJ Lee gets out and they trade pins. AJ Lee then applies a Black Widow. Seth Rollins runs in, but CM Punk sweeps his speed and applies a sharpshooter. AJ Lee and CM Punk clinch in their submission. Seth Rollins escapes after Becky Lynch pokes Seth Rollins in the eye and super kicks CM Punk down. Seth Rollins then pulls AJ Lee off, so AJ Lee applies the Black Widow to Seth Rollins. Becky Lynch attacks AJ Lee and hits a back exploder. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch hit CM Punk and AJ Lee with stereo pedigrees. 1-2, CM Punk and AJ Lee kicks out. Seth Rollins tells Becky Lynch that they are the champions in the main event. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch lift CM Punk and AJ Lee for a stereo GTS, but CM Punk slides off and clotheslines Seth Rollins over the top rope. AJ Lee slides off and hits Becky Lynch with a back exploder. AJ Lee signals for a stomp on Becky Lynch, so Seth Rollins sweeps her feet. CM Punk runs in and hits Seth Rollins with a stomp. CM Punk punches away at Seth Rollins, so Becky Lynch slaps CM Punk in the face. CM Punk incensed and blocks Becky Lynch. CM Punk blocks a kick from Becky Lynch, and she starts to beg him off. CM Punk sweeps her feet, so Seth Rollins attacks him. Becky Lynch sweeps CM Punk's feet and stumps him before applying a sharpshooter. Becky Lynch is applying a sharpshooter to CM Punk. CM Punk rolls through and locks her in a sharpshooter. Seth Rollins pulls CM Punk off and hits a pedigree, followed by a stomp. 1-2. AJ Lee hits Seth Rollins with a stomp to the break. It's up. Becky Lynch hits AJ Lee with the manhandle slam. 1-2. AJ Lee barely kicks out. Becky Lynch gets up and starts punching AJ Lee. AJ Lee starts to fight back, so Seth Rollins pulls her away. Becky Lynch punches away at AJ Lee, so CM Punk pulls her off. Seth Rollins and CM Punk begin to brawl in the center of the ring. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch pull their respective husbands away. AJ Lee tells CM Punk, "I got this." AJ Lee and Becky Lynch start to get into a hockey fight in the center of the ring. Seth Rollins and CM Punk do the same. CM Punk sends Seth Rollins out of the ring. AJ Lee sends Becky Lynch out of the ring. They go outside. CM Punk slides Seth Rollins over the commentary table. AJ Lee thinks about her next move and clears off the Spanish commentary table. CM Punk clears off the English table. CM Punk sets up for a pedigree on Seth Rollins. As AJ Lee goes for a manhandle slam on Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch fights out. CM Punk fights Seth Rollins and goes for a GTS. But Becky Lynch throws AJ Lee into him, pulling them all through the table. Becky Lynch gets AJ Lee in the ring and goes for a manhandle slam. AJ Lee counters with a Black Widow. AJ Lee changes it in. Becky Lynch has no choice but to tap out. It was already up, so it's up. The winner by submission, CM Punk and AJ Lee. This was a fun mixed tag team match, and I'm glad CM Punk and AJ Lee won, which is I predicted that CM Punk and AJ Lee was going to go over Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and I called it straight down the middle. CM Punk and AJ Lee celebrate in the ring. AJ Lee looks excited. Becky Lynch is in disbelief at ringside. Seth Rollins is still in the reckoning of the commentary table, grimacing in pain. AJ Lee jumps into the arms of her husband and looks at him. CM Punk and AJ Lee get the win versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Hashtag Wrestlepalooza. A really nicely laid out mixed tag team match. They built the surprise for a while to get AJ Lee into the match. I figure it will be over quickly from there, but they were just entering the second half of this. AJ Lee looked great. Physical match, really good, which is I agree. Hashtag Wrestlepalooza. ESPN app. The Belt Tools. American, you know what, by Kid Rock plays as WWE Hall of Famer. The Undertaker comes out to the arena on his motorcycle. Undertaker stops in front of Stephanie McMahon and the WWE President, Nick Khan. Undertaker grabs a microphone and looks at Stephanie McMahon. Undertaker asks if the seat next to her is open. Undertaker comes over to the barricade and sits next to Stephanie McMahon. Undertaker says he has in Las Vegas for the fight last night. She was there as well. Undertaker is here at Wrestlepalooza in Indianapolis, trying to steal a check. And he comes out here, and here she is. Is she following him? Stephanie McMahon says she's following him for a long time. Undertaker says they've known each other for quite a long time. Undertaker asks her, "Are you ready?" Undertaker smirks and asks her again. Undertaker says it is, it is an estimate honor to be able to induct her as the first member of the class of 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. Well, congratulations to Stephanie McMahon on inducting Stephanie McMahon into a class of 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. Stephanie McMahon deserved this. I'm not even mad at this. All right, the crowd yells for Stephanie McMahon. Undertaker embraces her as she becomes emotional. Undertaker tells the crowd to give it up for Stephanie McMahon. Undertaker leaves Stephanie McMahon to bask in the adultation. Nick Khan embraced her. Phenomenal announcement with Undertaker telling Stephanie McMahon that she is the first inductee of the WWE Hall of Fame Clash of 2026. She was genuinely shocked. Hashtag Wrestlepalooza. That was a good moment. Stephanie McMahon deserved to be in that Hall of Fame. I guarantee you that John Cena will be the next person to be inducted into the 2026 Hall of Fame. I guarantee you they're going to announce that. Video package, Undisputed WWE Champion. So we get the main event of the evening. Undisputed WWE Champion, the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie, man. This match right here, this was a good main event match, but I'm glad Cody Rhodes retained. The bell rings to start the main event of Wrestlepalooza. Drew McIntyre approaches Cody Rhodes and laughs. Cody Rhodes slaps him in the face, but Drew McIntyre laughs more. Cody Rhodes grabs a waistline, and so Drew McIntyre backs him to the corner. Drew McIntyre gives a clean break. Cody Rhodes charges, but Drew McIntyre hits a back elbow. Drew McIntyre chops Cody Rhodes' chest. Cody Rhodes slides through the legs, drops down, and hits an uppercut. Cody Rhodes charges, but Drew McIntyre hits a headlock takeover. Drew McIntyre chases it in, so Cody Rhodes fights up and backs him on the ropes. Excuse me. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre exchange punches, so Cody Rhodes lays in some jabs and hits his spotter's bionic elbow. Cody Rhodes drops down and kicks Drew McIntyre in the head. Cody Rhodes charges for the ropes, but he trips Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes recovers and comes off the ropes with a Cody cutter. Cody Rhodes covers for a 2 count. Cody Rhodes holds his head in pain and looks dizzy. Cody Rhodes applies a body scissor and a key lock. Drew McIntyre fights out and slings Cody Rhodes off. Cody Rhodes puts Drew McIntyre on the apron and hits a springboard kick to the head. The commentary team speculates that Cody Rhodes' dizziness comes from having his skull driven through the commentary table weeks ago on SmackDown. This is Cody Rhodes' first match back. Cody Rhodes gets in the ring and goes for a suicide dive, but Drew McIntyre catches him and dives him onto the ring post. Drew McIntyre then picks up Cody Rhodes up and slings him over the commentary table. Drew McIntyre gets Cody Rhodes in the ring and catch him with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Drew McIntyre shoves Cody Rhodes to the corner and hits a second overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Drew McIntyre puts Cody Rhodes in the corner and chomps away at his chest. Drew McIntyre sends him into the ropes, but he lowers his head and eats a kick. Cody Rhodes then drives Drew McIntyre's shoulders into the ring post. Drew McIntyre falls out of the ring. Cody Rhodes kicks him from the apron, but Drew McIntyre soon sweeps his feet. Drew McIntyre grabs Cody Rhodes' leg and hits an inverted Alabama slam onto his steel steps. Drew McIntyre gets Cody Rhodes in the ring and covers for a near fall. Drew McIntyre stomps away and Cody Rhodes heads in and covers heads and shatters around the ring. Drew McIntyre leaps over the top rope and goes to the top rope. Cody Rhodes scales the ropes and hits a top rope superplex. Both men are down, but they slowly get up. They trade punches in the center of the ring before getting into a hockey fight. Drew McIntyre hits the ropes, but Cody Rhodes follows him in and strikes him. Drew McIntyre quickly boots him back, but Cody Rhodes fights back with a snap power slam. Cody Rhodes connects with a disaster kick followed by a Cody cutter. Cody Rhodes signals for the end, but Drew McIntyre needs him in the head to avoid a crossroads. Cody Rhodes goes to the top rope, but Drew McIntyre hits a Glasgow kiss. Drew McIntyre climbs the middle rope and bites Cody Rhodes' forehead. When has Drew McIntyre ever bit Cody Rhodes' forehead? Anyway, Drew McIntyre hits an avalanche white noise for a near fall. Drew McIntyre kips up and counts down. Cody Rhodes counters a Claymore kick with a short powerbomb for a 2 count. Drew McIntyre fights back and goes for a Claymore kick again, but Cody Rhodes avoids it and applies a figure 4 leg lock. Drew McIntyre tries to chop him to get out, but Cody Rhodes keeps it applied. Drew McIntyre then punches him in the face and gets out. The referee checks on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is looking wobbly for the punch to the face. Drew McIntyre rips the turnbuckle's pad to expose the steel. Drew McIntyre goes for the future shot DDT, but Cody Rhodes gets out. Drew McIntyre gets out of a crossroads and shoves him near the referee. The referee gets out of the ring to avoid the impact. Drew McIntyre rolls Cody Rhodes up and has him pinned for a bit before the referee gets in and starts the count. Cody Rhodes kicks out at 2. Cody Rhodes shows Drew McIntyre into the exposed turnbuckle and hits the crossroads for a near fall. Cody Rhodes goes for a third Cody cutter, but Drew McIntyre slams him down. Cody Rhodes rolls out of the ring to recover. Drew McIntyre hits Cody Rhodes with a somersault senton and gets Cody Rhodes in the ring. Drew McIntyre hits the American Nightmare with a Claymore kick. 1-2. Cody Rhodes kicks out. Drew McIntyre is infuriated and looks unsure of what he has to do. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Cody Rhodes pulls himself up at ringside using the commentary table. Drew McIntyre goes outside and punches him down. Drew McIntyre goes to hit a Claymore kick through the commentary table, but the referee gets in Drew McIntyre's face. Drew McIntyre sidesteps him and goes for a Claymore kick, but his leg goes through the table. When Cody Rhodes moves, Drew McIntyre is in a lot of pain. Drew McIntyre is having trouble standing. Drew McIntyre pulls himself into the ring. Cody Rhodes goes for a Cody cutter, but Drew McIntyre hits a colossal kiss out of midair. Drew McIntyre goes for a Claymore kick, but he falls under his injured leg. Cody Rhodes hits a top rope Cody cutter, followed by a crossroads for the win. The winner by pinfall is still your undisputed WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. This was a good main event, but I'm glad Cody Rhodes retained. Alright, and my pick was right. Cody Rhodes celebrates with the undisputed WWE Championship as the show comes to an end. Cody Rhodes pins Drew McIntyre and is still the undisputed WWE Champion. Cody Rhodes pins Drew McIntyre and is still the undisputed WWE Champion at #Wrestlepalooza. And a really good main event with Cody Rhodes retaining over Drew McIntyre. I like Cody Rhodes selling the injury from having his head driven through the table. As always, Drew McIntyre hits the bridesmaid, never the bride. Great to close Wrestlepalooza with a strong wrestling match. There is a really strong and good feeling story waiting to be told if/when they ever turn Drew McIntyre face again. Drew McIntyre never got to have that moment of winning the world title in front of his live crowd. His entire run started in an empty warehouse and ended with still no crowd. This was a fantastic debut for WWE on the ESPN app. They wanted to have a good showing, and they did. It's still wild to think pro wrestling is a feature selling point of the ESPN app. Chris Birdman must be pulling whatever left of his hair out. #Wrestlepalooza. And WWE Wrestlepalooza goes off the air. Alright, let me give my honest opinion what I think about WWE Wrestlepalooza. Now, WWE Wrestlepalooza was a pretty good show for what it was. But the worst match of the night has to go to John Cena and Brock Lesnar. And that's all I gotta say. That was the worst match of the night. But you made John Cena wasted his retirement tour. And John Cena cannot win bigger matches. What was the point by having John Cena as a heel turn at Elimination Chamber to go all the way to SummerSlam to drop the undisputed WWE Championship back to Cody Rhodes, and then have Brock Lesnar to return out of nowhere, and then John Cena loses to Brock Lesnar with 7 F5s? Y'all wasted John Cena's WrestleMania final tour, but John Cena deserves way better than this, and that's all I gotta say. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my WWE Wrestlepalooza review and highlights, Seth Mercury crown Women's World Champion, please give this video 30 likes, man, and I will drop my AEW All Out review and highlights. If this video gets to 30 likes, and I will drop my AEW All Out review and highlights. I'm a man of my word, and I'm going to keep my promise. And I said it in my video to all my subscribers and viewers out there. Give this video 30 likes, and I will drop my AEW All Out review on highlights. I'm a man of my word, and I'm going to keep my word, and I will promise the YouTube community that I will be a man of my word. So, I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang. And I will see you guys next on my AEW All Out review and highlights. Stay too sweet. Have a good weekend. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.